YouTube, it's Mortimer, and today I'm here to share with you guys my wedding story and to give you guys some tips on planning your own wedding and all of that. And this video is just all about weddings, so I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So I am that typical girl who's been planning her wedding since she can remember. I've always had a vision for what my wedding would be like and what I wanted it to be like, and I put a lot of things in my life on hold to make sure that my wedding would be like my vision. Like I would not get any tattoos, even though I've always wanted like sleeves, tattoos like everywhere. I've never allowed myself to do it because I don't want to ruin my vision of myself naturally and beautiful on my wedding day. Now I'm not saying that tattoos aren't beautiful, but it just wasn't part of my vision, and this is gonna probably be around the last time I see my grandma, and I want to look beautiful for her and for my mother, and just I don't know, it's not like a I hate tattoos thing, because obviously I don't, but it's this vision that I've had and my family's had, and I just want it to be so pristine and perfect. So I put off getting tattoos just so that I can have this ideal wedding that I've been planning my entire life. Another thing was, leading up to the wedding, I stopped cutting my bangs because I figured, what if I like my bangs long, and if I don't, then I could just cut them for my wedding day. And luckily I like my bangs long, so I've been growing them out. It feels like my bangs hit a plateau point though, because they just won't grow past this point. So I'm hoping that they'll soon grow a little bit longer. But I've been engaged now for over a year. I think I was engaged for about a year and a half to 2 years. The first year we were engaged, I didn't plan the wedding, I didn't set a date because we just were not ready financially for the wedding. And the average wedding these days costs $30,000. $30,000 on one day. I could not fathom spending that much on a wedding. I didn't want to spend that much on a wedding. I couldn't even like afford spending that much on a wedding. So I just figured, why the hell would somebody spend $30,000 on a wedding? So I set myself a budget and I said I'm not going to spend more than like $10,000 to $15,000 on our wedding, which is already a lot of money. That's like a new car, right? So it turns out we went a little bit over our budget, and it just kind of became inevitable that we would spend, you know, almost $30,000. We didn't spend $30,000, but it was between $10,000 and $20,000. So that's a lot of money, and I mean, yeah, it sucks, but at least we had the money to pay for it. We didn't have to use like credit or anything like that. Like we have the cash now, so that was great. So keep that in mind when you're saving up for your wedding. I thought I would only spend $10,000, but it definitely went over my budget. So if you are planning a wedding, make sure to keep in mind how much money you're gonna have to spend and how early you need to start saving for it, because that is a lot of money. And we did not have any support from our families paying for our weddings. So keep that in mind as well, because I know a lot of people, you know, get money from their families for their weddings, but that wasn't the case with us. We didn't want to take that money from our families. You know, we just wanted to do it all ourselves, and we were able to because of saving and planning. So definitely keep that in mind when you're planning your wedding. So about a year before the wedding, I started sitting down and planning out who all I wanted to invite, you know, what all I wanted to happen at the wedding, you know, everything like that, and all of my expenses, and I made a list of everything I needed to rent for the wedding and everything like that. I planned everything. I'm a real planner. I like to plan everything daily. I have so many to-do lists on my phone for like my to-do list, Aaron's to-do list, my shopping list, my stuff that's coming in the mail list. Like I have lists for everything, like video idea lists for you guys. Like I make lists for everything. I'm a real list and calendar person. So planning to me is kind of like comforting. I love planning. It's like my OCD. So planning this wedding was huge for me, and I thought I won't need a wedding planner. I can do this all on my own. But looking back now, I kind of wish I did have a wedding planner, because there were certain things that I was working on up until, you know, hours before my wedding, that if I'd had a wedding planner, everything would have been sorted for me. So I do recommend it to you guys, but if you do have family members you can delegate to, you won't need one. Wedding planners usually cost about 10% of your total wedding budget, so you'll tell them how much your budget is and they'll take 10% of that for themselves. So definitely keep that in mind when you're planning, because I would recommend doing it yourself and then having family members help you if you can, because you'll save a lot of money, but you'll also be involving other family members who want to be involved in your wedding, because trust me, they really do want to be a part of it and they want to help. So definitely let them be involved. So when I was ready and it became time to find the dress, I went online and I went to davidsbridal.com. Now you can get wedding dresses from anywhere. You can go to Chinese websites and get them really cheap, or like used websites and buy, you know, used wedding dresses or rent a wedding dress. There's so many options. You don't have to pay full price for a wedding dress. I already knew that I wasn't going to spend more than $1,000 on a dress because that's ridiculous. Like, I mean, granted, I do spend like $100 on a black milk dress, but I'm not gonna spend $1,000 on a dress I'm only gonna wear once. At least I'll be wearing, like, you know, expensive black milk dresses more than once. So this was my mindset. I went online and I looked at all of the wedding dresses on davidsbridal.com, and I already had a vision in my mind of what I wanted, and I knew I wanted it from Vera Wang because she's one of my favorite wedding dress designers. So I looked on their website and I narrowed it down to all of Vera Wang dresses, and all of them were in my price range. And I found, I think, about like 10 that I really liked. And I looked at all of the dresses and tried to imagine it, and I narrowed it down to 3 dresses that I really wanted. So when I went into the store for my bridal consultation, I already had printouts of the 3 dresses I wanted to try on. And the very first dress I tried on was the dress I ended up buying for my wedding. And that's because I did so much planning beforehand. I went into the store knowing exactly what I wanted, and it worked out for me. So I tried on all 3 dresses just to make sure it was the one I wanted, and it definitely was. It was this really beautiful Vera Wang white dress, which is a line they made just for David's Bridal, so they're really inexpensive. My dress was originally like $1,200, but I got it on sale for $500, which is quite a steal if I do say so myself. I do kind of pride myself on getting things on sale or reduced price, so I was very happy I was able to save over $700 on my wedding dress. And my dress was beautiful, it fit perfectly. Now David's Bridal does offer sizing and to like make your dress fit you just the way you want it to, but they were charging $500 to fit my dress for me when it already fit perfectly. So I told them no thanks to that. But when I got my dress, the zipper was busted up the back because the girl before me who had tried it on was too big for the dress and was forcing the zipper up, and the zipper broke. So they replaced the zipper for me for free, but definitely make sure you try on the dress and zip up everything before you leave the store with your dress. Now, would I recommend David's Bridal to you? That depends. If you're on a budget and you're looking at certain designer dresses that are made just for David's Bridal, yes, I would definitely recommend them to you. But I would recommend more that you go to local boutiques and things like that just around your area, or look up even just used dresses or rental dresses, because this is a dress you're only going to wear once. You're not going to want to pass it on to your kids. I mean, who knows, you might want to pass it on to your kids, but I can tell you now, your kids are not going to want to wear your wedding dress when it's their wedding day. My mom still has her wedding dress and wanted me to wear it on my wedding day, and it's the big poofy shoulders, the long sleeve wedding dress. It just wasn't happening. And that's just something that she ended up keeping all this time, and it's nice to look at and try on, but it's just not my wedding dress. So I kind of think it's silly to have something so sentimental, especially something that takes up a lot of room like a wedding dress, but that's up to you. I still have my wedding dress, I bought it, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with it now. So for my shoes, I wore my Jeffrey Campbell lace Litas, and I did an unboxing of those for you guys a little while back. They're super comfortable. I love the Litas, and I especially love how tall these make me because my dress I did not get shortened, so it was a full length skirt, so I had to wear high heels to kind of make the dress the perfect height for me, and it worked out perfectly, and I was perfect next to Aaron and his height because Aaron is 6'2", so he's huge. And the shoes, like I said, were comfortable. They lasted all night long. I didn't have sore feet by the end of the night. I cannot recommend wearing Jeffrey Campbell's enough. He also makes his own wedding line of shoes now, and you can find that online by like searching wedding shoes Jeffrey Campbell or something along those lines. But they are all really, really cute. But I already had these ones in my closet and they just worked perfect. Now on my wedding day, I had this beautiful antler fascinator, and I had originally found one online, a picture of one, and that was what I wanted. I was pretty set on getting this antler headset, and I already had it in my head that I was gonna get it. It was either gonna be that or it was gonna be a Marie Antoinette style like chip in my hair. Like a glass in the bottle type chip, like hair ornament. But I wanted something different because I am quite different. It was either gonna be like that, the ship, or like a Ouija board planchette. Like I had so many different ideas, but the antlers are what really took me. And I found the designer who had originally made the antler fascinator that I was interested in, but they were charging a lot of money for this. And they were using real animal horns and things. So I contacted Hysteria Machine on Etsy, and they are a seller in the UK, and I asked her if she would custom make me an antler fascinator similar to the one in the picture. And what she does is she casts the antlers in resin, so you don't have to worry about, you know, more animals being hurt for them, or, you know, poachers and things like that. And they're really lightweight, so you don't have to worry about them sliding off your head. And they were just perfect. Totally unique, totally different. Nobody else has an antler wedding veil like I had. It was beautiful. I cannot recommend Hysteria Machine enough to you guys. She did an amazing job doing exactly what I wanted, and she was reasonably priced, so I cannot recommend her enough to you guys, and it was super unique. As for my makeup, I did it myself. It was pretty much my everyday makeup, just a little bit more cleaned up and a little bit more natural, because on your wedding day you're supposed to look like your everyday self but a little bit better. So I kind of went along those lines. So I did do the black eyeliner, and I did have the big eyelashes on and everything like that, but I did it very tastefully and the way that I like it, which is what's most important. My hair I had done at my favorite hair salon, which is Frenchies, and they're the ones who cut my hair and Aaron's hair. It's my favorite hair salon. I love the owner of the salon. Like, they're awesome. So they did my wedding hair for me early in the day, and it lasted all night long. I loved my hair. It was beautiful. I also had my extensions clipped in, so they curled those, and that's why my hair looks so super duper long in the pictures. But overall, I was really happy with how I looked on my wedding day. It was just like I imagined. And that was the easy part. I think the hardest part of planning the entire wedding was finding a venue. Now, I didn't think that would be the hardest part. I thought the hardest part would be, like, you know, just planning everything or finding caterers and things, but it was definitely finding the venue. And I'm sure that's regional because I live, you know, in LA, so it's really hard to find a place that's cheap and has enough room for everybody and looks nice. Like, those are three things you can't usually all find in the same place. Like, you have different qualities you can find in places, and usually LA you can get like one or two, you can't get all three. But we did a lot of research, and I happened upon a place called the Edison, and it is a steampunk bar, and it looked really cool, and I was really sure I wanted to have it there. But then we saw how much they cost, because it's like a club, so you have to rent out the entire club for the whole night or have it on a night when they're not normally open, so you have to pay for all of the staff, and it was outrageous. So we were like, okay, let's keep looking, and this will be our backup place. If we have to, we have to. And I, again, came up with an awesome idea that we should have it at the LA Natural History Museum, and they do weddings there, surprisingly enough. So we went on a tour of the LA Natural History Museum, and the caretaker there, who does all the weddings and takes care of all the parties and things there, was super cool. When we were touring it, they were getting it ready for the Jurassic Park release party when they were releasing it in 3D in movie theaters. They were having like a party for it there because there's dinosaurs there. And it was always a perfect choice for us because we love art, history, science, like all of that is combined right there in the Natural History Museum. And it's a beautiful location in downtown Los Angeles. So it was just perfect. It had parking, it had everything we needed for a wedding. So we had our wedding ceremony in front of the two dinosaurs in the grand foyer. They have a T-Rex and a Triceratops battling it out. And it was officiated by a very close friend of ours, and it was just a really nice, short and sweet ceremony. And after that, we had everybody enjoy the museum. We rented out the entire museum, so all of our guests could go around and enjoy the museum while Aaron and I went and took some pictures. And then afterwards, we all met up in the Rotunda, which is this antique giant building with a dome top, and there's a statue right in the middle of the three fates of art, history, and science. And we had all the tables and chairs set up in there, and the tables and chairs were supplied by the Natural History Museum, so that was really perfect and saved us a lot of money. But we met up there and we all had dinner. We had catering from one of our favorite southern restaurants here because it's so hard to find barbecue in LA, and Aaron and I are so used to down-home cooking. So that was like super special for us, and so many of our family and friends came out for our wedding. It was just exactly like how I wanted. Finding a caterer wasn't hard because there's so many different catering companies here in LA, and we had so many friends to help us out with everything. We had friends make us our guest book and help us decorate for the wedding and everything like that. It was just a dream come true. I couldn't have done without all of my friends. Now, another tip I have for you guys is the wedding cake. Do not splurge on a huge wedding cake. Like, if you must, like, get one of those designer wedding cakes you'll see on like Ace of Cakes or shows like that, you know. I had a friend who got her wedding cake from one of those fancy shows, you know, like Ace of Cakes and all of those bakery type shows you see on TV. She got one of those special designer cakes, and it cost around $5,000. $5,000. Now, I'm not even ready to spend $1,000 on a wedding dress. There's no way I'm spending 5 times that on a cake. So instead, Aaron and I went to one of our favorite local bakeries and we got 3 cakes of our favorite flavors for $50. So it's up to you. We had to get 3 for how many guests we had coming to the wedding, but it was flavors that we actually liked and that was edible, because who wants to cut into a beautiful masterpiece cake? It's just silly. And we don't have to worry about freezing a part of the cake to have like on our 1-year anniversary. We can just go back to the bakery and get another one made for us, like right there, fresh. So I feel like that was the best choice for us. And if you guys aren't picking it up by now, we're very non-traditional. We did not have, many flowers at the wedding. My bouquet was a bundle of dried lavender, which is my favorite flower. We didn't have to pay for all of the expensive flowers. We didn't pay for, musicians to be at our wedding. We just had giant speaker systems set up and we played our favorite music. We saved on a lot of things. We didn't even have to do that much decorating because the wedding was in a museum. Like, the museum is the decorations. So we were able to cut a lot of corners, but our wedding still did cost quite a bit of money. Things I would recommend to you if you're planning your wedding is do not skimp on a photographer. It was the best part of our wedding, was coming home afterwards and seeing the pictures. So, people always say that your wedding goes by so fast that you don't really get to enjoy it. And it's true, like the day went by so fast. Like, you spend one whole year planning this one special day and it's over just like that. And you're just like, where did it go? So it's so good to have those pictures and to treasure them, and they are just amazing. And I'm so thankful to our photographer for taking such amazing pictures. So after the wedding, we had everything loaded up in our friends' cars and our cars, and we hightailed it out of there. I still have a ton of stuff in my living room that I need to get rid of. Like, I have a bunch of tablecloths that I've like washed and folded but I have no use for anymore, and decorations and things like that. So I'm probably going to be ending up taking all of those to Goodwill and donating them there. But definitely plan that beforehand, because you are left with a lot of stuff after the wedding and no one wants to deal with it, especially leftovers. We ended up donating all of our leftovers so we wouldn't have to worry about that. And plus, we were leaving on our honeymoon like 2 days after our wedding, so it was good to be able to do that. If you do have flowers left over from your wedding, you can donate those to hospitals, old folks' homes, places like that will gladly take your flowers and they'll be so appreciated. Same thing goes for food. Usually you can donate it to local food banks, charities. You can just call and find out which charities will accept it or not. And it's just a great way to do it instead of just throwing it out. So I think that's about it. If you guys have any questions or comments about planning your wedding or things like that, definitely leave those down below. And please stay tuned. I'm gonna have so many more videos for you guys coming up, and I hope you guys enjoy them. If you haven't subscribed, please take a minute and hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you here on my channel, and I know you guys are gonna love what I have coming up next. So see you all later. Bye, everybody.